One thing that is no different across the UK, indeed across the world, is that there is an ongoing epidemic of violence against women and girls, and it shows no sign of decreasing. I don't need to spell out to you how this violence and abuse manifests itself in the lives of women and girls. You are all already politically aware enough. Most recently, we've seen the Ofsted report shining a spotlight on what many of us already knew was a toxic, sexualized culture that our children and young people have been handed by a society that fails to recognize the damage that a sexist and deeply misogynistic culture creates. Nor do I need to lay out the statistics about rape and sexual violence, the dangers of so-called honor-based crimes or forced marriage, or the number of women and girls coerced or sold into pornography and sexual exploitation. You are engaged activists and you already know this. These issues, however, must stand high on the agenda for the new committee. However, we do have our own issues within the Labour Party around misogyny and the undermining of hard-won women's equality that the new Women's Committee must address. And I'll come back to this issue later. Now, while a Labour government in Westminster would hopefully drive through some more impactful legislation on all issues of women's inequality, and in particular violence against women and girls, as a movement, we can do incredible work at local level. Labour-run and controlled local authorities commission local and regional services, and as such, they are the real change makers, or the people who are destroying an already fragile specialist women's sector. In Westminster, the Labour Party holds the Tory government accountable through the committee system and in the Lords, and they work to improve legislation and influence the work of government. The National Women's Committee must do the same, not just within the party, but also where the party has power and influence. Working with community groups, service providers, Labour activists and survivors, the committee can audit what our Labour local authorities and police and crime commissioners are delivering on the women's safety agenda.